We are stepping right inside a highly visual memory palace to completely decode the complex cardiovascular actions of a major medicinal herb. If you've ever banged your head against a desk trying to remember endless lists of plant facts, well, this is about to be a total game changer.
Right off the bat, how on earth do you memorize dozens of complex herbal actions without your brain just short-circuiting? I mean, look at the Materia Medica. It is incredibly dense. Memorizing 47 different herbs with all their specific constituents and clinical actions usually means hours of miserable rote memorization. But what if we just ditched that entirely?
The source material we're diving into offers this brilliant, totally immersive solution. It uses a continuous, you-centered journey called the Herbal House. The core idea? Walk the house. Enter every room. Let each herb act around you. It puts you right in the center of this rich sensory experience. So instead of just staring at words on a page, you're literally going to feel, hear, and see the medicine go into work. Today, we're focusing our journey on one absolutely crucial cardiovascular herb. Let's step right up to the front door. Picture this. You're standing outside a heavy wooden doorway, beautifully carved with vines and leaves, and just as you reach out for the handle, whoosh! A massive hawk dives right out of the sky. It blasts this freezing cold air against your face, whipping your hair back. It's startling, right? But that sudden, vivid shock, that is exactly what makes the memory stick in your brain.
So, the hawk lands on the beam right above the doorway. It drops a heavy, thorny, heart-shaped wreath straight across the entrance, scraping the wood loudly, completely blocking your path. Then, it throws its head back and just screams, "Ha, ha!" That sharp, ringing cry immediately locks in the name of the herb we're looking at, hawk and thorn, Hawthorn. We're looking at Crataegus oxyacantha, famously known as Hawthorn.
Now peer a little closer at that thorny wreath blocking the door. Suspended right inside of it is a living heart. But it's definitely not healthy. It's giving this weak, uneven flutter. The pulse is so faint you can actually feel it trembling through the wooden doorway and right into your own fingertips. It tries to beat again, but it barely moves. It's exhausted. It desperately needs help.
Concerned it might actually stop, you watch the hawk tear a cluster of bright red berries from the wreath and crush them in its beak. Thick red juice just pours over the exhausted heart. The heart drinks up every single drop, and its pale surface deepens to this rich, vibrant red. One warm drop of this juice splashes onto your own hand, and boom, the heart gives a stronger beat, and then another. You can feel that beat pressing against your own chest. This instantly reveals Hawthorn's most famous and vital clinical action. It is the ultimate nutritive cardiac tonic. It doesn't just stimulate, it physically feeds and strengthens the cardiac muscle itself, giving it a totally unique therapeutic role.
But hang on, the story doesn't end there. That newly strengthened heartbeat shakes the doorway so violently that thunder echoes from above. A dark, nasty storm cloud rolls directly over the herbal house, dropping this thick, smoking acid rain. You can smell the sharp, metallic odor before a drop even hits the ground. It hisses against the living heart, actively trying to corrode its surface. And this acid rain? It perfectly represents oxidative stress and free radical damage in our own cardiovascular systems.
But the heart has a defense mechanism. The hawk spreads its wings and unleashes dozens of shining silver plates. These plates fly around the heart, locking together into a flexible silver armor. The acid rain keeps pouring down, but it just runs harmlessly off the metal. You can literally hear the rain pinging against the silver plates without breaking through. This vividly locks in Hawthorn's vital antioxidant protection, defending those delicate heart cells from corrosive damage. Okay, so the heart itself is safe, but that acid rain has splashed all across the thorny wreath. The wreath turns red, hot and swollen. You can feel the heat rolling off the inflamed thorns, stinging your cheeks. And as they swell, they tighten dangerously around that armored heart, squeezing it until it's struggling just to find room to beat. This perfectly mimics how systemic inflammation can constrict and heavily stress our cardiovascular system. The hawk throws its head back and cries out once more. At that exact sound, those red berries start releasing a cool blue mist. Curious, you lean in a little closer. This incredibly soothing blue mist washes right across your hot face, curling delicately between every single inflamed thorn on the wreath. So here's the crucial point. How does this imagery actually translate to medicine? Well, that blue mist settling the heat and swelling perfectly represents Hawthorn's potent anti-inflammatory action. The mist cools the inflammation until the swelling just completely disappears, which finally gives our armored heart the room it needs to move freely and easily again.
But you have to watch the sheer physical force of what happens next. The relieved heart beats incredibly hard. Thud. It beats with so much force that it actually tears several pale connective fibers inside the wreath. The thorny frame begins unraveling, exactly like connective tissue in the body pulling apart under immense mechanical strain. The whole structure is collapsing.
Right before the frame collapses, the hawk opens its beak and shoots out these long, rubbery green vines. They whip past your arms, diving right between those torn connective fibers. The green vines actively braid the torn fibers together, wrapping tightly around the entire wreath to stabilize the whole framework. If you squeeze the vine in your mind, you can feel just how strong it is. This brilliantly locks in Hawthorn's collagen-stabilizing action, which is absolutely vital for maintaining the structural integrity of our blood vessels and our heart tissue.
So when we pull all these pieces together, this complete, highly structured clinical picture of Hawthorn emerges. We went step by step, right? First, the red berries fed the weak heart, proving it's a nutritive cardiac tonic. Second, the silver armor protected it from the acid rain of oxidation. Third, the cool blue mist settled the hot, swollen inflammation. And finally, the green vines braided the torn fibers back together, stabilizing the collagen structure.
Now, with all 4 of these incredible actions in place, the fully restored heart gives one enormous final beat. Thud. It punches a vibration right through the soles of your feet. The wooden doorway physically shakes in its frame, and finally, it cracks open. On the third beat, the hawk lifts the strengthened, protected wreath completely out of your path.
By stepping directly into this vivid memory map, you haven't just, read a boring list of facts. You've permanently logged the core memory of Hawthorn. You're forever going to associate the hawk and thorns with the name, the red berries with the cardiac tonic, the silver armor with antioxidants, the blue mist with inflammation relief, and those green vines with collagen stability. You now know Hawthorn inside and out as the ultimate red berry heart herb.
And honestly, that is the true power of this spatial sensory learning. You've just mastered a highly complex botanical medicine in a matter of minutes. So, now that the hawk doorway is wide open and your mind is totally primed to learn this way, I'll leave you with this thought. What other wild sensory secrets do you think are waiting to be decoded in the rest of the Herbal House? There are 46 more herbs waiting inside. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.